What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on the Duramax just like normal. Last video we left off with throwing the front end of the lift kit on. Technically we didn't finish it. We got where it was close enough to where I could pull it out of the garage and have it moving. But there's a couple reasons why I didn't get to finish the front of the lift kit. And if you guys are curious what kind of lift we threw on it, we threw a mcgaughys 7 to 9 inch lift kit. You can see our angles are actually pretty close to flat, so we can actually crank the torsion keys up on this and get a few more inches out of it. But I wanted to go ahead and wait to do that because there's a specific piece that I think needs to be mounted a certain way, and I want to make sure I have the truck at the right height before I end up throwing them on. It is going to be these bars right here, which I believe are called compression struts. We went ahead and threw a fresh coat of paint on them. We got some overlays made for them that we still have yet to put some rivets in. We got to drill some holes, throw some rivets in, and then we should be good to go to throw them on. Now, the reason I couldn't throw those on was because I noticed last week when I was throwing the front end on, I got up under the truck and I noticed the transmission crossmember, she's toast. She's super bent up. Now, you might be asking why that is. Well, if you guys have been here long enough, you know that I was actually going to destroy this truck in the beginning. The video is still up on YouTube. I took this thing into the middle of a field, jumped it, rammed it into cars. It was actually on top of a car. Once I get the old one out of the truck, I can go ahead and show you guys the difference. I ordered one on Amazon. She got here in like 3 or 4 days. Then the front end is 99% done. That 1% being one of the bump stops stripped out and is not usable. So we need to order some new bump stops, and then technically the front end will be 100%. Seems like every day I find something new wrong with this truck. Check this out. If I wiggle this dial right here, watch this. I'm pressing in on the dial. Like, watch, that's not pressing. I press in. I press in. Boom, they turn on. Let off. They shut off. Oh, nope, now it's working. Well, just another thing to add to the list. Those switches are super easy to switch. And actually, I got a little tidbit for you guys that I want to do to the truck. So all of these buttons, you can actually throw in new LED lights in them. Like the steering wheel controls, the cluster, which there's a reason that's out. We'll have a future video on that. Actually, before I do the cross member, I want to go ahead and throw these little emblems on. I had to take off that because I was painting the lift. That actually go right here over where that groove is. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Those studs, dude. The torsion bars aren't normally below it. Pit stop. Alright, let's compare sizes. Look how bent my original crossmember is. She is pretty cooked. I'd say that's about a 3-inch bend. I will say we barely got that thing out of there because, I don't know if it was because it was bent. This lift kit, you have to drop the torsion bars below the crossmember. So normally they sit above it. So it was a pain getting it out of there. Hopefully it goes in better. All right, well, we got to get this going. So, second time using a rivet gun ever. So what we got to do is I got to make sure I don't put these on the same side, because then I'd have to drill all the rivets out and redo it. So this side should go like that under the truck, just like that. Normally these bars don't come with these polished overlays, but I got them made. And if you like have a lift or anything on your truck, you can get overlays made for basically any bars. All you have to do is have a drill bit and a rivet gun, and you can put overlays on almost anything. Fast forward, we got all the rivets. I got the bushings in. We got to connect these bars to that bracket right there, and then to the transmission crossmember as well. I think it looks a little nicer too. It's not all rusty. But I am going to throw a quick coat of that Ace Hardware rust stop because we do have to reuse the skid plate on it. I hope the bolt holes line up. We'll know real quick if the frame stuff. Alright, well, this one went in a lot easier. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Good morning, guys. Well, after we filmed that part last night, I called it a night. I went and got an edit of the truck. This is officially the last day the truck will be squatted. We washed her all up yesterday. Man, this thing looks so much better with it being clean. So, I told you guys originally I was gonna put these bars on it, but I realized those bars are probably gonna have a different angle when I go to lift the rear end up. So I'm gonna do the rear end and then throw those new bars on, because I have to have these brackets mounted to the transmission cross member. And when I lift the back up, it'll be in a different location, I think, if my math skills serve me right. I might be completely wrong, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the truck in the garage. I'm gonna pull it in the other way so we actually have room to work on the rear. So I'm sure you guys see me taking that measurement right there. I was just measuring the clearance I have. We still have about 4.5 inches. Honestly, I could maybe get away with leaving the torsion keys down a little bit and still throwing a set of wheels on this thing and having it fit in my garage, which would be best case scenario, because every time it rains here, I get super worried about hail, and all of the time I have into this thing just scares me. So I'd love to have it in the garage 24/7 if I could. So if you are unfamiliar with how lifting the rear of a truck works, literally all it is you're putting blocks in between the axle and the leaf spring. So there's a tab on this side and then a hole on this side, which originally I thought this block sat straight up like this in between the leaf spring and the axle. But apparently it fits like this. So that means we're gonna have about a 5-inch block in the back. Actually, that's like 4.5 almost. You gotta remember one thing. We are on drop shackles in the rear. So originally, this thing is dropped down like 2 inches already. So in the rear, we're sitting at basically 10 inches. About 16. So we got a 6-inch difference. If we didn't have those reverse shackles on, this thing would be sitting about 2 inches higher. So it'd be like a 4 or 5 inch difference, which the block is about 5 inches. So we might have a little bit of a baby lean, which is, in my opinion, okay. A lot of people seem to like that. They just don't like the full-on squat. Anything's better than nose diving, though, let me tell you. But let's go ahead and start. We have to take the U-joint, which is right connected to the track bars. You can see right here, we have 4 nuts on each side to take off. And then we can go ahead and separate the axle from the actual truck. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a jack under the leaf spring, jack it up, and the axle should be disconnected from the frame, and it'll leave us a little space to throw that block in there. Alrighty, so the first thing I want to do is disconnect the track bars, which is one bolt going straight through, because I'm going to need to adjust them no matter what, because the angle is going to be way different. I'm hoping I don't have to re-drill the holes on the frame. So this heim joint extends out about 1 inch. I got it all the way out right now, but I still haven't threw it on the truck to see if that's going to give us enough clearance to make it fit. Shout out my neighbor Kian. He came over, dropped his jack off. So I need 2 floor jacks, 1 for each side, or else I'll be lifting it on an angle, and that's not what I want to do. We pretty much just successfully lifted the rear end of my truck. I don't know why I keep calling them U-joints. They're actually U-bolts. But we got both the U-bolts tied down, or tightened all the way down, torqued to 90 foot-pounds, just like the instructions say. But it still honestly looks like we're leaning a little bit here. But I'm kind of concerned because this truck is still reverse leveled. So we are actually sitting 2 inches lower in the rear than we are in the front. And then really the only other thing that the rear lift needs to be complete is this little bracket for the brake line in the back that actually raises it up a hair. Which, by looking at my brake lines, they don't look like they're stretching or anything, but I'll do it just to be safe. Goes right here. That's the rear diff. It literally raises the brake line like 2 inches. This lift kit is universal for different years. I think it's from 2002 to 2010. So it might be only for a couple years, or I might be completely wrong. And it is the moment of truth to see if my track bar fits, or if I have to re-drill the holes in the frame. This heim joint extends out about 1 inch. I got it all the way out right now, but I still haven't threw it on the truck to see if that's gonna give us enough clearance to make it fit. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is a lot taller. I actually modified my aftermarket drop shackles. I modified it to be a 1-inch drop shackle. Here's our factory ones. So now just imagine a hole 1 inch above this, and it gives us, in theory, a 1-inch drop shackle in the back. So right now we are sitting perfectly at 16 inches on the front and the rear. So she is perfectly level. Now that's with the torsion bars cranked at about 75%. So if I wanted to, I could crank it more, but honestly it's not recommended, so I'm not gonna do it. I successfully got the track bars on the truck. All I had to do was extend that heim joint about 1/2 inch, which isn't that much considering I lifted the truck like 7 to 9 inches. I was expecting to have to buy aftermarket heim joints and get longer ones, but they worked. We still have about 1 inch of thread inside the heim joint, so we're perfectly safe to drive it around. But after a week and a half, we officially have our 9-inch lifted truck. Honestly, couldn't have turned out much better than what we have here today. I am so in love with this thing. The only thing left to finish the cosmetics on this build is a set of wheels, which I'm sure you guys all knew that already because it looks like it skipped leg day a couple times. I am really happy I decided to paint the lower control arms and like the spindles. Even that fresh coat of paint on that diff makes it look a lot nicer. It ties it in together like it was literally meant to be on the truck. And these overlays on these bars down here were definitely the right call. I mean, it looks way better. It ties it in with the track bars. And then of course, our full HSP high flow piping kit to tie it all in. Did forget to mention in previous videos, if you guys want 5% off anything on HSP's website, use code mcgaughys and it'll save you a few bucks. But man, just sitting here looking at the truck makes me realize there's something about building something yourself. You can't put a dollar amount on. I literally have built this thing, not to brag or anything, but man, I have hundreds of hours into this truck. And just looking at from where it came from, I'm so happy with how it turned out. And I will probably have to keep it after I throw some wheels on it. There is a few little things wrong with the truck still, like obviously under the hood needs to be painted. This is an aftermarket hood, so originally I didn't paint the underside, kind of because like I didn't even realize I needed to. Obviously the top is painted gray, but we do plan on getting a hood mirror for it, so we're gonna end up painting the hood. And just some little details like this windshield has been cracked since I've owned the truck. Honestly, that is the biggest thing wrong with the truck right now. It bothers me every time getting in the truck or when I take the truck to a truck show and people see the cracked windshield. It's not just one corner that it's cracked on. It's cracked right here and all the way up it, which I have no idea how that happened. The truck has a clean title. There's no accidents that I know of. Could have been just somebody messing around and broke the windshield on accident. But we're gonna get that taken care of. I actually just got a quote for it. I'm gonna get that replaced very soon. I hope this video doesn't make it seem like I'm done with this truck. We aren't even close to done with it. Still haven't even addressed the interior on this truck. We've actually already started on the interior. You can see we don't have any gauges right now. I'm actually using my CTS to tell me my fuel level. So we got a little video coming on the cluster rebuild. Not to mention, we have some mods coming for under the motor that are gonna absolutely change the way this truck drives. We are gonna have the first high horsepower build that I've ever owned. It might not be 1,000 horsepower, but it'll be the fastest truck I've ever owned for sure. So boys, if you aren't already, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate every single one of you. And if you guys want some merch, the website is now live. Head over there. I'll leave the link down in the description. You guys can go pick up yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt. Thank you guys and have a good night.